Yesterday, I saw an interesting thing. First, pull up the Electoral Commission's internal circular. This is a memorandum from the Electoral Commission of Ghana, from Director Human Resource, Head Office, and Regional Directors. That's who has been addressed to. It was addressed to them. Subject: submission of curriculum vitae. Is dated the 29th of May 2023. Let's read it. I bring you greetings from the corporate head of the commission. This comes to inform you that the office of the president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has requested for the curriculum vitae of senior management of state agencies from director and above. You are therefore requested to submit your CV by noon today, 29th of May 2023, through ec.hrdirectorate@gmail.com for the attention of the commission. Thank you. And who signed that? Let's see the signature quickly. Samuel D. Boedu, he signed that one. Now, Professor Ransford Jampo had written something on Facebook. He was asking certain questions and making certain claims. Let's see what Prof said. He says, Dear President Akufo-Addo, why do you want to do this to an independent commissioner? We know that the constitution of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana gives the Electoral Commission independence, unless otherwise stated in law. It says, why do you want to do this to an independent commission? It appears under your tenure, you are doing everything you can to decimate the independence of all independent institutions. But to what end? The history of Ghana's Fourth Republic shows that you are currently the worst president promoting the sanctity of the independence of the Electoral Commission. Right? That is what Professor Jampo had said. Said the history of the Fourth Republic shows that you are currently the worst president in promoting the sanctity of the independence of the Electoral Commission. Unfortunately, it continues, there aren't courageous people around you to tell you to back off your attempts at annexing the Electoral Commission. Back in the days, Dan Botwe, as General Secretary of the NPP, could boldly tell President Kufuor in the face to back off his attempt to usurp the procurement powers of the Electoral Commission, and the president had no choice than to listen. Please, leave office and leave the sanctity of our independent institutions intact. This is not a practice worth emulating or repeating, sir. This demand is unnecessary, and its optics for the quest to deal with the independence deficit of the Electoral Commission are bad. But the Electoral Commission too must not be seen to be swallowing everything thrown to them by the president, hook, line, and sinker. Say, as an independent body, they should stick with their independence. That's what Professor Ransford Jampo has said. There are questions that come, and I've stood here and asked the Electoral Commission to take care of its image ahead of the 2024 elections, to take care of its image. In fact, at the last by-election in Kumewu, there were certain incidents, and I said, Electoral Commission, take charge of your image. You should not be seen to be being controlled. Take charge of your image. Because your name doesn't sound sweet in the mouth of not just the NDC, but all the other opposition parties. Take charge of your image. Take charge of your image. The president will appoint to the Electoral Commission. But after the president appoints, your daily dealings are your independence. It is for you. So now what is the CV being demanded for? That's the first question. Is the president suggesting to us that the latest people he put at the Electoral Commission, the Dr. Apiahene and the Hajia, who have come under strong public criticism that they are strong party people and he still ignore them? He doesn't know what their CV contains. Is that the suggestion from the president? That he doesn't know the people he appointed, or he did not appoint them, they were appointed for him and he endorsed them? Is that the understanding? Why do we need this? I have stood here, at least I've given you about 5 state institutions that are being run aground. GEOC is one of them. We have not moved to solve those issues. We are interested in the Electoral Commission because we want to break the 8. People are beginning to ask questions, and once people start fingering the integrity and the sanctity and the independence of the Electoral Commission, it is not good. Ghana is a beacon of hope. On the African continent, we are seen as a light that shines, and others follow. If we fail at this attempt to entrench the independence of the Electoral Commission, as the prof is asking, we are in trouble. And may it not be said that people have been put at the Electoral Commission to do the bidding of a political party. Because in the past few years, right from when the Venerable Dr. Farijan left, we have been toying with the Electoral Commission. Oh yes, we have been toying with the Electoral Commission. We put Charlotte Osei, then we put Jimmy Ansah, put Bosman Asari here. We are toying with the Electoral Commission. And we are toying with it because we benefit from whatever toy games we are playing with the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission must affirm its independence. And this will be a test case for the Electoral Commission. If you look at the law, right? If you look at the law, it talks about the independence of the Electoral Commission. So how is it that there's a law that gives them independence? The prof is saying that the president has his hand everywhere and that the independence of the Electoral Commission should back off. And he gave the example of the Venerable Damboche then as General Secretary, MP for Kre, Minister for Local Governance, right? He gave that example that when push came to shove, he told President Kufuor to back off in the procurement issues of the Electoral Commission. Now we're asking for CV. So that's what will happen. What are we updating? We have chosen to put people who have gone past 60, people who have gone past 70, some who are inching 80 in places running day-to-day activities of state-owned enterprises that are declaring losses. Young people can't find work to do. We are not focusing on that. We are focusing on the Electoral Commission. Because those institutions don't count votes and don't declare presidents. These ones do. Electoral Commission, take charge of your image. In the last election, you declared 6 results. You brought results, took it back, brought it, took it back, brought it, took it back. Before we knew, Sylviano was out there in Denmark as an ambassador. We have seen Ketu North, ballot sheet that were not stamped. In the last election, we saw how Nanado's picture was cut from it by an official. In the just ended by-election at Kumewu, we saw how an old woman was voted for against her wish. We have seen too many of these things. Electoral Commission, take charge of your image, oh. Take charge of your image. And you see, I'm saying these things because when Jim Mensah was at the IEA, she used to make very, 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 very interesting contributions. Professor Jampo used to work with Jim Mensah. Interesting contributions. Today, Madam has been given the football field. We see the ball. Good morning.